Welcome, everyone. The BCALA membership meeting has just ended, so we're doing a little bit of a changeover to the literary awards. We thank you for joining us. It will get started very, very shortly.
Children's Awards, which will follow the adult awards. So the first thing, we'll have a welcome by our new president, Michelle. Here she comes. She will welcome us for our literary awards.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to the 2020 Bcala Literary Awards. It's been so long since we've all been together, so give yourself a big round of applause for this being here. So we have members, we have friends, we have authors, and we're just very, very excited. And without any further ado, I will turn it back over to Gladys Smiley Bell. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Okay, we're going to get started. There's a history of the Black Caucus Literary Award. It's on the back of the program, and it's also going to be on the website just for your information and consult. But I want to welcome everybody as well to the 2022 Literary Awards. The first award goes to the first novelist.
Good evening, everyone. The winner, my name is Demosa Weberbay. The winner of the First Novelist Award is The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois, a novel by Honoré Fanonne Jeffers, published by HarperCollins. The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois is a phenomenal coming-of-age story that will linger with readers, painting the intergenerational portrait of Avery Pearl Garfield. Honoré Fanonne Jeffers pens a character who idealizes her older sisters and idolizes her elders with a history framed by the experiences of land and ancestors in the Deep South. Spanning Avery's childhood in a northern city through the experiences as an undergraduate HBCU legacy student, she ultimately engages in revelatory research in graduate school. Jeffers teaches creative writing and literature at the University of Oklahoma. This is her first novel. The author, it's going to be a video. Okay, there we go. The author here in a video.
Good evening. I'd like to first thank my publisher, Harper Books, my literary agent, Sarah Burns, and my former editor at Harper, Aaron Wicks. Most especially, however, I am so very grateful to receive this award from the Black Caucus of the American Library Association, not just because of its prestige, but because when I was a small girl living in Durham, North Carolina, the public library was a sanctuary for me, a little socially awkward Black girl whose mother was her only friend. Durham was still de facto segregated in those days in the 1970s. And those African-American librarians, most of whom were women, would warmly welcome me every time I went to the library. To them, I wasn't too fat or too awkward or not pretty enough. There was nothing wrong with me. In fact, I was extraordinary because I loved books. And so it is with deep gratitude, and more than that, deep community affection that I accept this first Novelist Award from this esteemed organization, the Black Caucus of the American Library Association. Thank you all so much, and God bless.
Okay, she's coming live too. This is live thank you. The next award goes to our fiction, in our fiction category. The winner is Razor Blade Tears, a novel by S.A. Cosby. I welcome you to the stage, Mr. Cosby.
Good evening, I'm John Page, and I am to present the fiction winner for 2022. The book is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. He does a magnificent job with this new novel, Razorblade Tears. This novel tells us about two men, Ike Randolph and Buddy Lee Jenkins, who were out to avenge the deaths of their sons. Razorblade Tears gives the reader a fascinating story of racism, homophobia, through the eyes of two fathers whose sons were married to each other and killed together. The two fathers feel it only right that they find out who killed them and why. Mr. Cosby.
Thank you so much. I'll let you take your place. All right. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here this evening with the BCALA. I guess I want to thank first my lovely wife, Kimberly Redmond Cosby, who's sitting over there, who, when we first met and decided to get married, and I had this crazy dream that I wanted to be a writer, she said, well, come work for me. You won't be, I used to work 6 hours a week at a hardware store, and I'd write on my lunch break. And my wife said, you're never gonna write the books that you're destined to write doing that. You should come work with me. And I said, well, what if it doesn't work out? And she said, what if it does? So my wife, who always says, why not us? Why not us? I'd like to thank her. She's still mad at me because I don't put the top on the peanut butter, but other than that, we're doing great. I'd also like to thank my publishers at Flatiron Books, my agent Josh Gessler, my editor Christine Coprash, all the readers who embraced this book. You know, I grew up about 2 hours away from here in a little small county called Matthews County, and it is a place of great joy to me, but also a place that I'm honest about that has great intolerance. And those places need to be educated about the idea that unless all of us win, no one wins. And unless everyone can love who they want to love, then no one is free. And I think for me, as an African-American man in this community, growing up, I always wanted to do right by the people around me, regardless of who they were or where they come from. Growing up, I grew up, as my mom used to say, dirt floor poor. And so I never was able to go to bookstores or Barnes and Noble or anything like that. I always went to the library, and I always was amazed that people would trust me to take these books and come back in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I see how that works out. But in all seriousness, the library was a great refuge for me. It was a place where it didn't matter that I didn't have two red nickels to rub together, because those books there would take me anywhere that I wanted to go. Whether it was the work of Walter Mosley, Alex Haley, Chester Himes, Alice Walker, anyone that looked like me, that told stories that represented the people that look like me, was an inspiration for me as a writer. I can't thank y'all enough. The story of Buddy Lee and Ike is a story that has violence, and it's a story of revenge, but mostly it's a story of redemption. I don't think redemption is something that someone can give you. Redemption is something you have to earn. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle in the dark, and you have to feel your way around until you're able to complete it. And nobody owes you that. That's something that you give to yourself. So thank you to the BCLA. Thank you to everyone here tonight, and thank you to all the readers. Somewhere in an alternate universe, there's a little 12-year-old boy who is losing his mind right now. Thank y'all again.
Flatiron Books donated one copy of the book as a giveaway. So this is how I'm going to do it. Do we have any people here born in January? Okay. How about January 13th? Okay. That's good enough. The next category is also for fiction, and these are our honor books. I'm going to introduce you to the first honor book, The Trees, a novel by Percival Everett, Grey Wolf Press. Two detectives and a town's root doctor tried to solve the terrifying, uncanny, and brutal murders in Money, Mississippi. The Trees is a racial allegory that brings back to life the hateful past by the unghosting of Emmett Till in a way that only a brilliant imagination makes possible. And Dr. Percival Everett certainly has a wild imagination if you've ever read his books. He is a distinguished professor of English at the University of Southern California, and on his behalf, I accept his award. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The second honor book for fiction is Yellow Wife by Siddiqua Johnson. The Yellow Wife is a powerful, well-written, intriguing, and harrowing story that sheds light on one of the worst times in our history during slavery. Yellow Wife is a historical fiction novel from the point of view of Phoebe Dolores Brown, a mulatto slave girl born on a plantation in Virginia. Phoebe was promised freedom on her 18th birthday by her white father and slave owner, but that changed when he died suddenly. Phoebe was sold to a place known as the Devil's Half Acre, where she learned the cruelties of slave punishment at that time. Johnson weaves Southern history and real historical events into a beautiful but heart-wrenching story of resilience and the will to survive. Johnson currently lives near Richmond, Virginia, and she's here with us tonight. So please help me welcome to the stage, Siddiqua Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this amazing and wonderful honor. This is actually my first award for Yellow Wife, and so I feel just really overwhelmed and blessed for this opportunity. So thank you, BCALA, for selecting Yellow Wife. You know, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I was the girl who got dressed up every Monday over the summer. And my library card had a very special place and a very special purse that I carried every week to my local library. where my librarians helped me pick out 7 books. And I would take those books home and I would read a book a day. And then I would go back the following Monday and I would do the same exact thing. So the library has such a big place in my life. In fact, when I was in 7th grade, I remember that I used to sneak my books to school. And I would tuck them behind my textbooks so that I can continue to read, books by Maya Angelou, and so that I would read instead of learning math, which probably was not a good idea because I'm still suffering today. But reading was a lifelong journey for me. My first job out of college was in publishing. My first job was in Scholastic Books. And I took the job simply because I love to read. And it was there that I started working on my very first novel. Even though I worked in publishing, I had a really hard time getting that first book published. And when I got all of my rejection letters, which was about 12, I was dejected and I was ready to quit. But my husband, he said, "So what is it that we need to do to get your book published?" And I said, "Well, I think I need an editor." And he said, "Well, why don't we just hire an editor?" And it never occurred to me that it was just that simple to begin to stick to my dream. And so we started a publishing company ourselves. And I literally took my first book up and down the East Coast, standing on my head, begging people to buy my books. And here I stand 5 novels later in front of you. Because I would not give up on my dream. My dream was always to be a published author with a major publishing house. And so Yellow Wife is my first historical novel, but it's my 4th novel that I've written, and my 5th book is actually coming out in March, so I'm excited about that. But I would just love to thank my agent, Sharice Fisher and Wendy Sherman, who have been with me from the beginning. For Yellow Wife, I had the distinctive pleasure to work with the great Don Davis as my editor, and so everyone at Simon & Schuster has been amazing. I have 3 beautiful children who are here with me today, and they motivate me every single day, and I thank you all for sharing me with my computer and the characters that are always working in my head. And I dedicate this award to my husband. Thank you.
Okay, I have another giveaway. Publisher for Ebony, which is a fantastic book, and someone will talk about it, and she's here. Okay, who was born in February? Okay. Tell the truth. How about February 24? Who said that? Okay, good enough. Our second honor book for fiction is The Sweetness of Water, a novel by Nathan Harris, Little Brown and Company. The Sweetness of Water is a compelling novel, also historical, that begins at the end of the Emancipation, where 2 newly freed brothers leave their plantation in order to go north to find their mother, who was sold when they were young boys. This novel also introduces George Walker and his wife, who are searching for their son Caleb after the Civil War. All in all, The Sweetness of Water gives the reader a look at the days after the Civil War and how it affected each of the characters. Harris lives in Austin, Texas, and this is his first novel. He was unable to come today, so I accept this award in his honor. Thank you.
Yes, So with distinct honor, I get to present the nonfiction award winner, and the winner was Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson with Michelle Burford. This book award is dedicated to the memory of a beloved librarian and past president of BCALA, Miss Sylvia Sprinkle Hamlin. So if we could just take a short moment of silence for her. Just As I Am, legendary actress Cicely Tyson takes the reader on a journey from a shy church girl to a wife of jazz great Miles Davis to her extraordinary acting career. Her contributions have earned her the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the following praise by President Barack Obama in 2016. In her long and extraordinary career, Cicely Tyson has not only succeeded as an actor, she has shaped the course of history. And as you are aware, Miss Tyson is deceased, so I will accept this award in her honor. Thank you.
Cicely Tyson wrote this book with Michelle Burford. So give us a second while they load a video of her acceptance. That was nice. Okay. Who's had a firstborn in the month of April? Firstborn in April. Somebody over here had a firstborn in April? Come on, baby. Good for you. Okay, we have 3 honor books. And Demosa will come and give the presentation on the first one.
I'm presenting on A Little Devil in America, Notes in Praise of Black Performance by Hanif Abdurraqib, published by Random House. A Little Devil in America is a masterwork of historical memoir, expressed through vivid stories of Black performance and individualism. These vignettes form 5 movements in the book, itself a narrative performance, spotlighting entertainers such as Josephine Baker, William Henry Lane, and Beyonce. Deconstructing his own daily performances, ranging from attending concerts to playing spades, the author shrewdly connects these global and national figures to his autobiography as a writer, poet, intellectual, and human being. Hanif Abdurraqib is also an essayist and a cultural critic from Columbus, Ohio. Cannot join us today. We will accept the award on his behalf.
Our next winner is The Black Church. This is Our Story. This is Our Song by Henry Louis Gates Jr. I'm sure many of you saw the PBS documentary. So this was the book that was based upon. Gates reveals the Black church's role as the spiritual bedrock, the thought center, and heartbeat of the Black community that has nurtured musicians, artists, educators, politicians, and of course, notable preachers and speakers. Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. is the Alphonse Fletcher University professor and director of the Hutchins Center for African and African American Research at Harvard University. Dr. Gates could not be present this evening, so I will accept the award on his behalf. Thank you.
Our next award is Ebony, Covering Black America by Lavelle Levette. This book is a pillar of the African American community. The Ebony magazine has been a breath of fresh air for many years, speaking on issues and events from the Black perspective, celebrating Black excellence, standards through beauty, honor, and just another pillar, the piece that the Ebony has been. It has been there since Jet and other magazines, and it is still there as part of our history, part of our culture, and part of our future. On behalf of this, I would like to present this to Lavelle Levette. As she is coming to the stage, I told her she gets to pick her own person for the winner of this one.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Do you want to do this now? No, you do. The book. You want to give the book back? You want me to? Okay, so I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. Long shot. Anyone here from Opelousas, Louisiana? Anyone from Louisiana? Is a librarian from Louisiana? Shreveport. My mom's from Shreveport. Winner. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Black Caucus ALA for this honor. It is indeed an honor to be here. The Black Caucus ALA, you not only make a difference, you be the difference in the lives of so many. So I applaud you for that. Thank you. Trailblazers like Edward C. Williams, the first librarian, professional librarian, Black professional librarian, Eliza Atkins, a librarian, trailblazer, and of course, Clara Stanton Jones, the first Black president of the American Library Association. This organization is carrying the torch for such trailblazers, and much appreciated, because making a difference for the future of librarianship is so important. I can remember as a little girl in Opelousas, Louisiana, going to our local library in St. Landry Parish, summer programs, community programs, all of those programs helped to shape me as a reader and as a writer. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want to support librarians and libraries across the country, particularly Black librarians. And I'd like to say that the programs that you all are doing with the Black Caucus, I would like to pledge a scholarship to support those programs. And so I hope to get with your president so that we can provide some funding for that. I believe, particularly at this age, a life of service is what I've tried to do. And with this book, Ebony Covering Black America, so much rich history that Ebony is trailblazed with. And as a writer and as a publisher, it was my honor to work on this book and to present this book to the world, and so pleased with the response that we've gotten from this book. I am a story hunter and a storyteller, and we are so proud of this book and so proud of the work at Rizzoli as well as Ebony Publishing, which is a new imprint that we are dedicated to the voices of Black authors. And we want to bring forth new trailblazing authors, people that you may not know about yet, but we hope that in the coming months, in the coming years, you will get to know some of these amazing, amazing authors that we'll be publishing now and in the future. So again, I would like to thank you for this honor. Thank you for acknowledging this book. We think it's an evergreen book that should be on everybody's coffee table. But aside from that, it's a lot of history of a lot of things in researching that some of the things I didn't know about, some of the things that Ebony did and Ebony covered, which is so important, not only in 1945, but it still holds true today. So again, thank you for this honor. And I look forward to working with the Black Caucus and us supporting and providing additional resources and help so that you can continue the tradition of the trailblazers, but also bring other young Black librarians into the profession as well. So thank you again for the honor.
The winner for the Best Poetry Award is Black Girl Call Home, poems by Jasmine Mans. Yes, Black Girl Call Home, a collection of poetry, was like a love letter to Black girls everywhere. Mans' poetry was so timely and relatable as she covered topics such as hair, mental health, racism, and motherhood. The collection is powerful and inspiring and nostalgic right from the vision of the front cover. And if you saw the front cover with all the bow-rets on it, you know what I'm talking about. Jasmine Mans is currently the resident poet at the Newark Public Library, and she could not be with us tonight, so we accept this award on her behalf. Oh, she's on the phone. Wait, what?
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Alexander Williams, and I'm on the phone with Jasmine Mans. And so she wanted me to accept this on her behalf. Jasmine, I promise if I put it on speakerphone, I can hear you. It's a good mic. All right, hold on. All right, go ahead.
I am overwhelmed and I am so grateful and thankful to be receiving this award today. Black Girl Home is 10 years worth of labor, of love, and I made sure that I was very explicit with wanting to talk about my mother and my grandmother and my home. And ever since I was in college, it was important for me to make sure that the story of the Black girl has been and will stay in the literary canon. So for you guys to honor this book is a huge deal for me, and I feel greatly honored and affirmed, and I thank you so, so much, and I wish I could be in your presence this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The honor book for poetry is I Am Enraged, a collection of poetry by Martina McGrove births the I Am Enraged, a very powerful, intensive book. It is vivid illustrations sprinkled throughout the book, talking about passion, rage, and reality. It is a pillar in the Black American community, talking about the strengths and courages that were put together through all of the adversities that have happened. And Martina is not here. Does anyone have her on the phone before I accept this award on her behalf? I accept it on her behalf. Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking for a birthday in September. September 16th. Damn. Okay, I'm looking for a birthday in June. Okay. Yeah, you can come. How about June 6th?
Well, that was the end of the Ebony book giveaways. I'm here to present the outstanding contribution to publishing, which this year is going to 400 Souls, A Community History of African America, 1619 to 2019, edited by Ibram X. Kendi and Keisha N. Blaine, published by One World. The editors chose an unconventional method of portraying the history of African America from 1619 to 2019. 10 parts by way of chronology and themes. Each author, journalist, activist, poet, and living legend covers his or her topic over a 5-year period. Each of the 10 parts ends with a relevant poem. A lack of continuity does not detract from the flow of this historical narrative, as the reader enjoys the different voices, viewpoints, and perspectives from what may be called the African American quote, community, unquote, or group history, providing a look at the past and some ways of looking and thinking about the future. I think we all know Ibram X. Kendi. He is the Andrew Mellon Professor in the Humanities at Boston University and the founding director of the BU Center for Anti-Racist Research. Keisha Blaine is an award-winning historian, professor, and writer. She's Associate Professor of History at the University of Pittsburgh. She's also the president of the American Intellectual History Society and is an editor for the Washington Post Made by History section. Neither one of the authors could be here tonight. I accept in their honor. And you know, Ibram has a new book coming out next year, another anti-racist, and we're all looking forward to it.
Now we will introduce the winners of the 2022 Self-Publishing Ebook Awards that BCLA has in partnerships with Bibliolabs. And we really want to give a round of applause to Bibliolabs as they have supported this award for the last 6 years. And this year they have increased the award so much so that we are able to give each of the self-published authors $2,500. So we want to give a round of applause for that. So the fiction category award winner is Juju Girl by Nikki Marsh. This is a coming-of-age story about Gabby, a 15-year-old girl in Louisiana. After a great storm, Gabby is propelled into a different world filled with superstition, affluent communities, and magic. Gabby soon finds out the origin of her paranormal gift that she carries and what challenges and choices come with that type of power. This novel would appeal to teens, young adults, maybe anyone who's interested in fantasy, in the fantasy world. And the book highlights some of the less well-known cultural traditions in our society. Juju Girl is the first book in a planned trilogy, and Marsh plans to release the second book in the fall. Nikki lives in Florida with her family, and I think some of them are here tonight, and we welcome her to the stage.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to accept this award from the Black Caucus of the American Library Association for my novel, The Juju Girl. I thank the organization for being the culture keepers of African American culture. I thank the jury for taking the time to read and honor my work. And I thank my family and friends for their support and encouragement. The Juju Girl is a coming-of-age fantasy about a young Creole girl's quest to discover who she really is. She takes us on a journey full of superstition, conjure, spirits, and hauntings, things I am all too aware of. As a young child, I spent my summers living over a funeral home in Portsmouth, Virginia. As soon as school ended, my mother drove all 6 of us to visit my grandparents there. My grandfather was an undertaker, and as was the custom, the family lived above his establishment. That was a scary place for children. We confronted the details of death every day. Going or coming, we had to pass the morgue or the casket showroom or the chapel where a corpse lay quietly awaiting its mourners. We heard family stories about relatives who communicated with the dead, and some relatives who could be in 2 places at one time. We needed an escape. We found one across the street at the segregated Portsmouth Colored Library. We spent hours there every day under the wings of Mrs. Bertha Edwards and Miss Charlotte Falk. They made that little library a magnificent getaway for us. We played games, read little golden books, and listened to stories. They even let us sharpen pencils and help them stamp the due date cards. In return, we shared with them some of our encounters with the dead. On one such occasion, we had good reason to believe that the corpse in the chapel wasn't dead, only sleeping. But we couldn't tell our grandfather because we had no business in the chapel. Who did we tell? We went to the library and we told Mrs. Edwards and Mrs. Falk. They promptly closed the library, marched across the street, and informed our grandfather that there was a problem with the corpse without letting him know that we were the ones who discovered it. Librarians are very good secret keepers. So when I learned I won this award, I thought, how appropriate that this honor comes from an organization of Black librarians. Those two extraordinary women instilled in us the joy of learning and embodied the mission of this association. Without their early influence, the honor may not have been possible for me. And so life has come full circle, and I dedicate my award to the memory of Mrs. Bertha Edwards and Charlotte Falk. Thank you.
The poetry category winner is I Forgot I'm Only Human by Marquise Jackson. This debut collection of poems is raw, uncut, invigorating, and thoughtful. Jackson discusses love, life, feelings about race, childhood, and more. This work examines what it means to be human in all its forms. It has been said that Marquise Jackson is a poet unafraid of the vulnerable. He now resides in St. Louis, and his second collection of poetry, Unrehearsed, is in early development. Marquise could not be with us tonight, so we accept this award on his behalf.
Okay, this concludes the BCLA Literary Awards, and I would like to thank my members of my committee. That includes Tiffany Duck, Dana Evans, Richie Moman, John Page, Jamar Ramin, and Demosa Weber-Bay. They've been a tremendous help. It's a lot of work doing this, and I'd like to thank them. We do have some books to give away on the tables, limited amount. We're going to do the one copy to the people who didn't get a chance to have dinner. So you can come to the table now and get your book. Don't mad rush, but we do have one author is here to sign some of those books that are there, so stick around. Okay, you going to introduce the next? Okay. Our new president will continue with our next awards. Okay.
So can we all give Gladys Smiley Bell and her entire committee a warm round of applause? So they work really, really hard, lots of books, lots of talking and going back and forth. Gladys Smiley Bell has been chairing this committee for many, many years. She makes it look really easy. And it is a labor of love, but it's a lot of work. And so we appreciate her and everything she's doing. So thank you. So as the individuals in the back are getting some books, which is amazing, nothing like a free book, whoop, whoop. Even from a librarian who has a huge to-be-read list and still getting books and buying books, but I think that's just a part of the profession. We are going to take a few minutes to transition between the adult books and the juvenile books. And so I'll just try to ask a couple of questions to get familiar with who is in our crowd. So raise your hand if you're a member of one of the BCALA affiliates. Ooh, lots of people. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Raise your hands if you would like to be a member of a BCALA affiliate. Okay, great. So what we're trying to do is to expand that. If you go to our website, bcala.org, if you have your phone, go ahead and take it out and go to bcala.org. You can look and see what areas we have affiliates. Rudy is our membership chairperson, and we're going to do some intensive campaigns on getting people out there to see if we can get some more affiliates going and get more members in the existing affiliates. We also want to make sure that we have your updated contact information. So we have your correct email, mailing address as well, because some of our communication we're sending out on MailChimp. So some of it's on the listserv and some of it's on MailChimp. And so if we don't have your correct information, we can't get that through to you. So we'll probably try to send something out to everybody. And if you're not on the list, hopefully you're on one or the other, and we'll be able to get it across to you. Have all the people in the back received one book? We're getting a thumbs up. Awesome. Ms. Smiley Bell, how would you like to disperse the remaining books? Are we doing birthdays? Because now I think we're in July. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go table by table, and she has another great idea.
Yeah, I have another great idea. Do we have any participants here today over 80 years old? Okay, you can get a book if you want. What about young people?
Our elders can go first. We have 2 little people right there. No, 3 little people. 4. And this will take. Yes, in the back to the right.
Are you the only one? Come on. Oh, okay. That's a good one. Retirees.
Go ahead and grab a book. You grab a book.
Grab a book. Where did they come? Okay, the little people. Anybody under 10?
Okay, so you can go to the back and.
There's no children's book, but they can get one. They're adult books, so get one. You're getting a book for your parent or guardian or older brother or sister. Okay. How about recent library science graduates? Okay, help yourself.
You get a book. You get a book. You get a book. I'm going to get a picture of
And I want to remind you that Ms. Lavelle is still here. She will sign the 10, right? I want you to sign the 10 books, and the one book that for S.A. Cosby, he's here, so he can sign it as well. And Secreta, is her name Secreta? Ms. Johnson, for Yellow Wife, we have copies. We have plenty of copies in the back as well for her to sign. Her husband was shaking his head. Okay. Harper Collins was here. But which one? Who's the guy who was in the blue? That's Harper Collins. That's Virginia. She won one of our citation awards. I gave her an award. Her and that lady from Random.
I just want to recognize him.
Okay. I think she left.
We want to recognize the publishing house, HarperCollins. They provided the books tonight. So yes, please give them a round of applause. And when you're looking for books, please think about HarperCollins. The Black Librarian in America, the latest in the series, is out right now. If you
Hello,
are
I'm Caja
part of the
Langley, and I'm
convention,
the
if you
author
go
of
to the
When
convention
Langston
floor,
Dances.
they're
The
selling
story
them
of a
at
little black boy's
Littlefield
first
and
day
Rowan.
of ballet class.
So those
I am
are available, and you can also get those in line. And we'd also like to thank Virginia Stanley, who has provided books. Is that right? Yep. So let's give her a round of applause. Thank you.
She's from HarperCollins. She's one of our big supporters and longtime supporters. So we are very grateful for your support.
We are now ready to resume the literary awards, and we are focusing on children and young adult. Children and young adult. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Bum, bum, bum. Clap one time if you're hearing me. All right, so good evening. We're going to start with the Children and Young Adult Awards because time is of the essence. And while we're eating and we're almost getting close to the end, I want to make sure that we get you guys out in a decent time. So I want to thank you all for attending the BCALA Children and Young Adult Literary Awards. This award is in partnership with BCALA and the School Library Journal. We believe all children deserve to see themselves in literature that they encounter. And through this award, we aim to deepen a reader's understanding of themselves and their world by providing ample windows, mirrors, and sliding doors. And tonight we're going to present 4 award-winning books and 4 honor books in the category of first novelist, debut author, fiction and nonfiction, and graphic novel. And I will now turn it over to my other committee members. And just want to say before, because I might not be here at the end, but I just want to thank all the people on our committee. This is volunteer work. This is a labor of love for all of us. And we do it because we know that our kids need to see these books in school libraries and public libraries and throughout their lives. And we want to highlight authors that might not otherwise be highlighted, and also just let other people know what we feel represents the Black experience. So without further ado, first novelist and debut author, we have Stacy coming up to present.
Good evening, everyone. Like Donna said, it is a labor of love, definitely in addition to the positions that we do every day as children and school librarians. The first novel award is titled When Langston Dances by Caja Langley. This book is appropriate for students ages 3 through 8, and it is published by Simon & Schuster. In this rich text, Black boy joy can be found in many places, but Langston finds it in basketball and dance. He is inspired by a trip to the Elvin Ailey Dance Company, where he discovers that with work and discipline and community support, he can achieve anything. This Follow Your Heart-centered book places emphasis on permission to dream and to love who you are. Langley does an extraordinary job at informing the reader to push forward and to never give up. And there is a video for Langley.
Hello, I'm Caja Langley, and I'm the author of When Langston Dances, the story of a little black boy's first day of ballet class. I am thrilled and deeply grateful to the Black Caucus of the American Library Association for awarding When Langston Dances the Bcala Children and Young Adult Literary Debut Author Award. I want to thank the Literary Awards Committee for their time and effort and for this honor. I want to thank Deneen Milner Books and Simon & Schuster's Young Readers for their efforts in putting this work into the world. I want to thank my agent, Charlotte Sheedy, and my beloved, who has always stood beside me. And of course, I want to thank Keith Mallett, who is the illustrator of this gorgeous work and whose work and art brought the magic of this story forth. Thank you again for this honor. Wishing you all well.
The honor book for First Novelist goes to J.L., who is the author of Wings of Ebony. It's also published by Simon & Schuster. When Rue's mother's life is taken away from her right at her doorstep, she is left to fend for the family. Rue soon discovers her magical powers and human instincts are all she has left to determine the fate of her sister, who could be subjected to life swarmed with crime and violence. Choices must be made that could ultimately put everyone at risk. J.L. does a great job at creating and intriguing the theme of this story, and as she intertwines it into real life, into real life obstacles, as well as a touch of fantasy. So this is also a great book, and we would like to thank Simon & Schuster for providing us with these books to read. Thank you. Okay. So next we have Karen Lemons, who's going to present the Fiction Award. Oh, shit. That's even better.
Okay, good afternoon. Oh, sorry. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Karen Lemons. I'm a library media specialist with Detroit School of Arts. Yes, Detroit, representing Detroit. Woo woo! I have, first of all, I do always want to thank Black Caucus for their support, not only in terms of the literary awards and the literature and the resources, but just their support of children, youth, youth librarians, school librarians like myself, and I would be remiss if I did not give them an applause for their support over the years. And I so love the committee, the Children and Young Adult Literary Award Committee. We rocked it. We did. We rocked it. We were such a congenial group. We didn't have tension. We did have our favorites. Okay, we did. We had our favorites, but we weren't bickering about it. We were just, and it was so pleasant. It was just such a joy that I'm ready to do this another year. All right. The fiction category winner goes to The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris, published by Simon & Schuster. The author presents an interesting question. What would you do if you knew the future of someone just by touching them? Yeah, and poor Alex, he's 17-year-old teenager who already has anxiety. He touches a photo, he touches this, he can automatically see the future and fate, and he just goes deeper into anxiety. But then he touches a photograph with his young brother. Oh You got to read the book to find out what you have to read the book. I'm not going to tell you what he did. I'm not going to tell you if he told his brother. I'm not going to tell you what happened to the brother. You're going to have to read the book because Brittany Morris brought it. She brought this book. So Brittany could not be here, and we accept this award on her behalf. Thank you so much. You got to read that book. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, the honor book for the fiction category is Black Boy Joy by Kwame Mbalia. Woo! Yes! Told you, we got a rocking committee. We love this. Okay, from Delacorte Press. Black Boy Joy is a celebratory story that embraces the lives of boyhood through 17 short stories. The anthology exemplifies Black boys, their lived experiences, including challenges and their glistening moments. The book's composition features authors across multiple genres that captivate the reader to engage, connect, and wonder with ease. And this page turner has something for everyone, particularly emphasizing the Black experience. Kwame could not be here, but he has recorded an acceptance speech to share with you all.
Hey everyone, my name is Kwame Mbalia, and I am absolutely thrilled to accept this award on behalf of not only myself, but all of the contributors of Black Boy Joy. Thank you so much to the Black Caucus for presenting this honor and bestowing this honor upon us. Thank you to my 16 other contributors. I am going to list them because they are I am not single-handedly responsible for this book. It was a group collaborative effort. So thank you to BB Alston, Dean, to Fenderson, to Jay, to Jerry, to Lamar, to Don, to George, to Varian, to Suyi, to Tochi, to Julian, to Julian, to Jason, to Justin, and to Devon. Without them, this project would not be possible. Thank you to Hannah and to everyone at Delacorte Press for understanding that joy needed to be put out into the world. Thank you to Random House for all of their assistance during this process. Thank you to my super agent Patrice and to everyone at New Leaf Literary. Like I said, this was a community effort to bring joy into the world, and I am so, so happy that it garnered the response that it did. And I am extremely pleased, blessed, and gracious that we have been given this incredible honor. So again, thank you to the Black Caucus. Thank you to everyone at ALA. And look, we're going to try and bring joy again to you as many times as it takes until everyone, especially that Black child who needs it desperately, receives it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So to Karen's point, our committee learned what hybrid means. We met in little boxes, in text messages and emails. And to that end, we actually have one of our committee members who could not be here presenting the nonfiction award. So I'm going to turn over to Tamala, who has recorded her intro for nonfiction. So here we go.
The nonfiction category winner is Nina, a story of Nina Simone by Tracy N. Todd, illustrated by Christian Robinson of Penguin Random House. This children's biography chronicles how Eunice Wayman from North Carolina became Nina Simone, a pianist, singer, and civil rights activist. Nina and her songs gained popularity for supporting the betterment of African Americans. Her story outlines the hurtful scenarios that she had encountered from a young child to her attempt to attend Juilliard. Simone's story is one of using her talents to help support and make change for her community. We have Tracy N. Todd with us tonight and would like to welcome her to receive her award and say a few words.
Oh my gosh, I was not expecting this beautiful thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I had a whole other speech prepared where I was going to talk about how this book was made, and I was going to thank all the people that I needed to thank, like my dear friend and editor, Stacey Barney, and of course, Christian Robinson for his beautiful work, and all the friends who kept me lifted during this process, which was a very long one. And of course, my father, who introduced me to Nina when I was a very small child, and my mother, who was at the beginning of her career, a public school librarian in the Chicago public schools. But I tore that speech up because as I was upstairs getting ready, I put on my Nina Simone playlist, and it just gave me a whole new perspective on everything. And what occurred to me was how much we need Nina Simone today, how much we need to be reminded that things are gonna get easier, that someday we'll get it together and get it undone, someday when the world is much brighter. How much we need to be reminded what it's like to love somebody, how much we need to be reminded how it feels to be free, that this is the morning of our lives and we've still to live our day, that lilac wine is sweet and heady, that everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. How much do we need to share all the love that's in our hearts, to remove all the bars that keep us apart, but most of all, how much do we need to affirm and reaffirm how wondrous it is to be young, gifted, and Black. Thank you, Nina, for never letting us forget. And thank you to the BCALA for providing a space where we are safe in this work, empowered and celebrated. And as Nina sang, my joy of today is that we can all be proud to say, to be young, gifted, and Black is where it's at. Thank you.
The nonfiction honor book is Revolution in Our Time, Black Panther Promise to the People by Kekla Magoon, published by Candlewick Press. Magoon accurately tells the story of the Black Panther Party and its role in the civil rights movement and U.S. history. Rich with anecdotes, primary documents, historical accounts, and more, Magoon highlights the Black Panthers' positive contributions, their 10-point platform, free breakfast and education programs, and the government's role in dismantling a party that was indeed for the people. Kekla could not be here and has recorded her acceptance speech to share with you all.
Thank you. This is an incredible honor. I'm extremely grateful to the American Library Association, the Black Caucus of ALA, School Library Journal, and especially the Bcala Literary Awards Committee for choosing to recognize Revolution in Our Time this year. I grew up in Indiana, in a predominantly white community, and as a biracial girl, I struggled to fit in and find my place there. I latched onto studies of the 1960s civil rights movement, seeking to understand why I was having such a hard time gaining respect in this environment, when so much messaging around me proclaimed that we live in a land of opportunity, a land that is free and equal for all. As young as 10 or 12, I could have told you all about Dr. King and Rosa Parks, yet somehow, in that quest to understand what it meant to be Black in America, I never learned or was never taught anything about the Black Panther Party. It wasn't until my post-college adulthood that I stumbled on an article about the Panthers' free breakfast program for school children and the powerful and peaceful community organizing that was the core of their work. I felt angry that this history had been kept from me, and I didn't want that to happen to kids like me in the next generation. Revolution in Our Time is the first mainstream nonfiction book written for teens about the Black Panther Party. The research and writing process took me over a decade. My friends and family know what a labor of love it has been, a passion, an obsession at times, the drumbeat under the music of everything I've done in my professional life to date. I traveled around the country visiting libraries and archives, meeting former Panthers, all with my eye on capturing this history, while in the real world around me, echoes of the Panthers' legacy rang out constantly in the form of the Black Lives Matter movement and renewed attention to the effects of systemic racism on this country. The struggle continues, and as such, it means the world to me to have this book recognized on this stage. I will be eternally grateful to my editor and friend, Andrea Tompa, and the whole team at Candlewick Press for taking a chance on this unusual project and for pouring so much into the production process. My book designer, Nathan Pyritz, deserves special mention for making the book so beautiful to look at. This is one of my favorite spreads. Cover design is by Matt Rozier. My publicist is Jamie Tan. The photo assistant, Erin Farley, helped with permissions. Copy editors, Hannah and Aaron. Those are but a few of the people working behind the scenes. My family always has my back, including my parents. My brother said kind words about this book when it was a fledgling manuscript, words which I held on to during the many years when I feared it could never be published. 10 years was a long wait and a lot of work. But in hindsight, it's clear that this is the right book at the right time. A time when it is needed most, when book challenges in communities around the country threaten to erase aspects of our history that have only recently been allowed to be told in the first place. Thank you to the teachers, librarians, parents, school boards, and citizens across the country who are engaged in the fight to keep books like mine in our schools and libraries. Authors like me stand with you in those efforts. Our children need and deserve the truth of our history. We have to trust them. They can and they will build a better future. Thank you.
So our next award is the Graphic Novel Award, but before we bring awesome Sharice up, I just want to say, Kekla mentioned the people behind the scenes, and there are so many people that are helping right now, currently, the servers, the tech people in the back. So there are people who are working behind the scenes to make today happen, and I just want to thank them before we leave tonight, because without them, we would not be here. And then also, I know Zakia is somewhere in the interwebs, and I want to thank her as well. And I'm going to bring on Sharice.
Good evening. I'm Sharice McKnight. I'm a school librarian here in DC at Calvin Coolidge High School, and I'm going to be presenting to you on the graphic novels. And I don't know how you all grew up, but where I grew up, graphic novels were for like the weird, dorky kids, like the Millhouses from The Simpsons, like that was pushing up their glasses and keeping it in a plastic bag or plastic protector. And I didn't want to be seen with one. I was dorky, but I was like Lisa Simpson dorky, like cute dorky, like not comic book dorky. But after reading these two graphic novels, that completely changed my mind on graphic novels. I was like, oh, this is what can happen. This is what you can learn when reading graphic novels. They are absolutely amazing. So the winner for the Graphic Novel Award is The Black Panther Party, a graphic novel by David F. Walker, illustrated by Marcus Kwame Anderson, and published by 10 Speed Press. The research and clarity poured onto the pages of this richly detailed account on the formation, service, and dissolution of the Black Panther Party is outstanding. Similar organizations that developed around the same time, whether loosely or closely related, are mapped out in a clear framework. From single individuals to the US government sabotage, Portland University adjunct professor David F. Walker expertly tells this incredible story. And Jamaican-born artist Marcus Kwame Anderson delicately illustrates each moment. The awardees could not be here, and we accept this award on their behalf. Thank you. And next up is the honor in the graphic novel category. The honor award goes to Artie and the Wolf Moon by Olivia Stevens from Graphic Universe. They tell the story of novice photographer Artie, who is struggling with bullies at school and her overprotective mother literally everywhere else. One evening, she stumbles upon a startling revelation that her mother can transform into a werewolf. This sends Artie on a search for her own transformative powers. Is she a werewolf? Can she do the same thing? So she finds her pack, her way, and so much more that she believes that she can't even handle. Stevens offers a remarkable storytelling and artwork with this instant classic just written all over it. Olivia could not be here to accept this award, but she has recorded an acceptance speech to share with you all.
Hi, this is Olivia Stevens. Thank you so much to the Black Caucus of the ALA for this honor. I created Artie and the Wolf Moon as a love letter to the importance of community, particularly the Black community. I believe that our power lies in our kinship and in the spaces we share together, the spaces we extend to each other to just exist and engage and grow and express love. So to receive this recognition from kin and from within community really means the world to me. It really affirms me in my mission as a graphic novelist, which can be a pretty solitary existence a lot of the time. And when it comes to the comics I make, all I can hope for is that the people who need a story most are able to find it. So thank you for helping people find it and for this honor. And congratulations to all the other wonderful winners that are being honored tonight. Thank you. Bye.
So I just truly appreciate the Black Caucus of the American Library Association and the Children's and Young Adult Literary Awards Committee for recognizing graphic novels, and not only graphic novels, but Black graphic novelists and illustrators that are shaping a new mold and a new wave of new graphic novel readers for those who can enjoy these beautiful works of literary art. Thank you.
So here we are at the end of our program. We would like to thank all the committee members, Tamala, Karen, Marielle, Sharice, and Stacy. I also want to thank Casey Boyd, who was a member of our committee last year and is currently this year as School Library Journal School Librarian of the Year. So congrats to her. It's been an honor to work with librarians from diverse fields and systems on this project. And while we serve different populations, I feel we have one single purpose, and that's to get the right book in front of our students and in front of our children and teens. Again, many thanks to the members of the committee. Also, thanks to Shantae as the outgoing president, and to Nichelle, who's coming on. I don't think that we can do this work alone. We do this work, as Olivia said, as community, and this community is strong and thriving, and I'm excited that we had to add extra tables because there were so many people who were interested in coming tonight. So I want to thank you all for being here, for just being who you are and being awesome. And on that note, I'm going to walk off the stage and thank you guys for coming. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your conference, and wherever you're traveling to get home, be well, be safe, and take care.
So let's give one more round of applause for all of the committee members that worked so hard on these literary awards. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sings. like small words. And I also want to thank all of the authors who thought it important enough to stay here to get their honor in person and bring their remarks, and we so appreciate that. We love you, we send you love and light, and we can't wait to read your next work, so thank you too. So that is the end of our programming for tonight. We're so glad everyone came. Please pick up some books, mingle, and as you go back to your homes, please ask your institutions if they would like to be institutional members of BCALA, and we would love the authors to join as members of BCALA as well. So with all of that, Godspeed and safe travels. Good night. I'm sorry, can we get all past presidents of BCALA to the front for a photograph? So Josh Holman, Andrew Sekou Jackson, Richard E. Ashby Jr., Gladys Smiley Bell, all past presidents. If you could come to the front for a photograph, please. Say it again, I'm sorry. It's right here. Oh, good. Gladys is here. Josh, is this